This episode of the Better To podcast is brought to you by Kitty Mystic and Needom, author of the Better To Burn Out series. Today, I would like to tell you a little bit about one of my favorite places, Synergy Collective, a bohemian lifestyle brand curating wellness for the mind, body, home, and soul, located in the heart of the Midwest, Rockford, Illinois. Inside the storefront and online, you'll find a beautiful selection of crystals and metaphysical tools, boho apparel and accessories, sustainable home and beauty items, books, candles, and other unique gifts. They also offer a variety of community events, classes, and workshops in their Rockford location, including some select classes that are taught by me. So I invite you to explore the collective at www.shopsynergycollective.com and use code BETTER215 at checkout for 15% off your first online purchase. Welcome to the Better To podcast with DM Needom. I'm your host, Donna. Today's guest is an infectious, and I do mean infectious, because she's bubbly and vivacious and just, she's a triple threat. Her name is JD Reynolds, and she is one of the biggest Australian country artists. And we talk about Australia. We talk about music. We talk about the music industry. We talk about modeling. We talk about dancing and so much more. So tune in. Hey, Donna from the Better To podcast here. If you've listened to my show, you know that it always sounds great. That's thanks to the guys at Third Ear Audio Productions. Third Ear Audio helps podcasters, broadcasters, musicians, and business owners get their important messages out to their audience. Rich and the Third Ear Audio team are easy to work with. They're efficient and understand that your message is important to you. With quick turnaround and the true caring of your needs, Third Ear Audio is your go-to for any audio message. Reach out to Third Ear Audio at 312-388-5596. Rich and his team will deliver for you. That's 312-388-5596, or you could email them at info@thirdearaudio.com or visit them on the web at www.thirdearaudio.com. Hi, JD. How are you doing?
Hello, Donna. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. And where are you located?
Australia, rural Australia on the east coast. So, g'day, country folk out here.
Now, I don't know, this is going to sound very bad to me, but I do know Perth, but I'm not sure exactly how far from Perth you are.
Oh, okay, a bloody long way. So keep on, just go over to Queensland, New South Wales side of Australia. Okay. It's kind of like comparing Perth and where I am is kind of like comparing, I don't know, is it New York and California kind of
New York and Los Angeles. Okay, I got you.
New York, yeah, that's right. So no, I'm on the other side of Australia.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I don't know a lot about Australia. I have had some guests, and I did have a couple of bands that I liked back in the day. So that's why I was curious. That's why I know where Perth is, or know of Perth, is because of the bands.
Yeah, Perth's awesome. Yeah, it's a great little city. It's kind of like our landmark-wise, when you look at the map, it looks like our biggest state, but it's kind of like the smaller city. So, but it's nice place, good people.
But we're not here to talk about where you live. We're here about to talk about your music. And so you're trying to break Nashville, correct?
I am. Yes. G'day, everyone.
So Give me a hand. How do I say this? You're a little ways from Nashville then.
I am. Yeah, I am a little ways from Nashville, but people are starting to know who I am and drop my name in certain places. So that's always really cool. I feel a bit chuffed about that.
Are you planning on moving over there to Nashville?
I really am. I'm planning on moving to the US and just traveling back and forth. Before COVID, I was traveling back and forth all the time, and I was actually living in the United States when COVID hit, and I was just about to go on tour and do the whole thing, and then that put a spanner in the works. And it's just taken a few years just to cut all the red tape and get back over there. So I'll be back over there soon. I just can't wait to jump on a stage for y'all. That's where I feel most at home.
Understand. I mean, and you're not the only one. I've talked to a couple of acts that, they had released a song right before COVID, or they released a record, and then, You just you got
Yeah,
your
I know. Look, it was a bummer, but we all just keep on keeping on as a people, as a whole world. We just got to keep on keeping on, and just get. I was going to get back over there, and just start from where kick everything off from where I just started. So I'm looking forward to it, Donna.
So what made you decide to go country?
I think it was the introduction of great music from my mum. She was a huge country music fan. She had the greats playing on repeat in the house. I think my first word was Jolene. I just absolutely loved it ever since I was a kid. And I just always loved the storytelling in country music. And for me, it was just a no-brainer.
So when did you start singing?
When I was a little girl, I started singing. I started out as a classical ballerina. I was scouted extremely young, and they threw me onto the big stage with, oh, sorry, that's just me saying, don't forget Donna.
It's
That's
okay.
my alarm saying, don't forget Donna.
It's all good.
They put me onto the big stage with the adult ballerinas when I was a kid, and I was so nervous. And I used to sing to myself in the wings, and family in the audience say, "Oh my God, there's JD. You can hear her singing in the wings." And I used to get in big trouble for it, but it was just a way of calming my nerves as a kid. And one of the greatest classical choreographers of all time was happened to be backstage. And after the show, they sought my mum out and said, "You know that little JD? She's a beautiful little ballerina, but man, can that kid sing?" And so my mum said, "Yeah, I think she's a great little singer too. But whatever she wants to pursue, she can do whatever she wants." My mum's always been like that. You go do whatever you want,
Nice.
which is so cool. So that's how I got into singing, and I loved it. I sing to calm my nerves. I still do, Donna. I still do.
So what happened to the dance career?
I still dance. I went on to have a really great dance career. I won Young Choreographer of the Year in Australia, which is extremely hard to hard to win. So I won that, and look, I'm still a dancer. I love dancing, and I feel that it's just something in my toolbox that goes hand in hand with my
Yeah.
music. And when I do a live show, I can't stand still, Donna. I can't do it. I can't stand there with a guitar. I can't. I'm always dancing. So when you see a live show, it's just, oh, hang on a second, who is this country music?
But it keeps the audience entertained. It keeps you moving. It keeps your energy up.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that after shows, people will come up to me and say, "Never seen anything like it. It's just been one of my favorite things to see." I really love that. I love how unrehearsed. It's kind of like rehearsed and unrehearsed, my show. I love how unrehearsed my show is. My band's just so talented. They can see me go, "Oh my God, JD's gone off on a tangent here on stage. Just let her do a thing." And my band leader would just go, "Okay, just keep playing until she gives me the cue to say I'm ready to start." And for people who come, one night, two nights, or they say, "Oh my God, we got a totally different show." I love that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, did you do some modeling as well? Did I read
I
that somewhere?
did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got scouted again. I remember this day. I was in my school uniform, and I was with my mum shopping, and we'd been caught in the rain, and I was saturated, and we're in a mall having a shop after school, and an editor from one of our biggest magazines gave my mum a card and said, "I know she's a baby now, but when she's a little older, please give me a call." So yeah, I've done some high end fashion modeling, and I've really enjoyed that. And I'm very fortunate that I've seen the best side of modeling. I think it's because I've had a great support unit around me. And my mum comes everywhere with me, or one of my 6'6" scary cousins comes with me everywhere. So I've always had that really great support unit. So I've always seen the best side of modeling, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, because there are some shady sides of modeling. So you're very lucky. And I was going to say it's pretty amazing that
Yeah.
you were drenched and they still scouted you. So that says a lot about what they
Yeah,
saw.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I do remember the day I was saturated, and Mum was saying, "Oh my God, Jay, can't you just use a raincoat and umbrella? How am I going to get a uniform dry for tomorrow?" But yeah, this lady came up, and yeah, she was just she was. I won't drop her name because she's
Oh,
still with us.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, she said, yeah, she's going to be a great, she's going to be a great model. She's got a great look, and yeah, I did. I went, I did some, some really great stuff. As a dancer, I'm a natural on the catwalk. I've got apparently a really unique walk. I'm untrained at that. Didn't I just walk how I walk? So yeah, it's really fun. But for any girls out there wanting to get into the modeling business, it can be worse than shady. Just make sure you take one person who has your back every single place that you go, everywhere, backstage, in the change rooms, take them with you.
And make sure you get a reputable agent.
I agree. That's right. So you really do your research on your agents.
So I guess, now we have the modeling, we have the music, we have the dancing. So is there any acting in this repertoire?
There is. I love acting. I studied acting. I really love it. I've been told by all the coaches that I'm a natural. So I really do love that. I memorize lines very, very quickly. You can give me a script and I'll have it, and I'll literally just read it once and have it memorized. I've just got one of those brains. So I do love acting, and I'd love to get more into it. So yeah, I think I dropped a hint on the James Bond website the other day where I said, I think I'd make a really good Bond girl. And they answered me. They just said, wow, we can keep an eye on you. We think
Nice. Well, you can also do now over here, we have the Sports Illustrated where they're kind of taking more open calls. So there's always
yeah.
that too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I released I was the first country music artist in the history of the world to ever release a swimsuit calendar.
Wow.
And that did so well. It sold out in 24 hours. It was a very high end, the swimsuit calendar. All of your top designers just gave me swimwear and said, yeah, here you go,
Nice.
put my swimsuit in the calendar. So that did extremely well, and it was a beautiful calendar. I'm really proud of it, and all of the designers, every single piece that I wore, they all contacted me and said, we love it, which is
Nice.
always really high praise.
Yeah, yes, definitely. So then we're going to go to, there's a big deal here for you because your latest release, 8 Seconds, according to your bio here, hit the highly coveted #1 spot on Australian country radio.
It did, and that was during Grammy week.
So how was that? I mean, especially during Grammy
I
week.
was, I thought someone was pulling my leg. I'm usually one of those people, ha ha, whatever. Sometimes I get these big people calling me and I go, ha ha, whatever, and I hang up.
And then
But
they
no,
ring you back, and they're like,
I know.
no.
They said, no, we're serious. Please don't hang up. That was a thrill for me. I didn't know how to react. I think I went into a little bit of shock. I was so humbled by it, and I was just so grateful to the whole PBR community across the world, from the United States to Australia to Brazil. Everyone in that PBR world reached out to me and said, thank you. The writers themselves, the family members, the loved ones, they wrote to me saying, thank you for writing this song. Thank you for shining a light on the other side of PBR, on the loved ones watching what we do. And that was a true honor for me to write that song. And I'm happy for them that it went to #1. I'm happy for them because, they're extreme athletes and their families go through a lot.
Explain a little bit more for those that do not know what PBR is.
Professional bull riding. So the professional bull riding, the sport, I was really thankful that PBR embraced me as an artist, and I was invited out to sing at the K Ranch here in Australia. It was my first live performance for a very long time, all the way through COVID. So it was the only sold out PBR event worldwide in 2022. They all came out to see me, which was great. It was great to get out there and mingle with the fans, sing for them, and really spend some time with the riders, spend some time with their families. But how that song came about was I was at the PBR finals in 2019 in Vegas. and one of the girls, one of the wives of a bull rider, one of the top 20 in the world, she recognized me. She said, "My God, are you JD Reynolds? I love you." And
Wow.
and I sat down with all of the girls, and they were the wives and girlfriends and sisters and mums of the professional bull riders, your top 20 bull riders in the world. And we just started sharing stories, and they invited me out to watch the finals, and it's extreme. It's an extreme sport. These athletes are extraordinary. I met some of I call them protection athletes. I think you guys call them rodeo clowns,
Okay.
but we call them protection athletes in Australia, which I love. I love the fact that, because that's exactly what they are. They're incredible. And it was sitting in the crowd watching the girls' reactions and the family and loved ones' reactions to their loved ones riding these bulls, and then they grip their seats, they go ghost white, some of them cry, some of them laugh, some of them don't know how to react, they're all so nervous, and it just washed over me very intensely. And I think I wrote that. I know the song's called 8 Seconds. I think I wrote that song in 8 seconds. I knew everything I wanted to put into that song. It just kind of washed through my soul, and I had it written in that. It was just sitting in the grandstand.
Well, I mean, I like how you guys, they're not rodeo clowns. I mean, they're not clowns. They're not clowns at all.
No,
So
there's nothing clownish about them. They
no.
are extreme athletes.
And
They put their lives on the line to
yeah.
protect the bull riders. It's incredible people. And then when you get to chat with them, so down to earth. It's like it's water off a duck's back to them. It's nothing. And one of them said, "If I die like that, I'll be happy." I stood so, So
that always goes back to the statement of I'm gonna die. If I die doing what I love, then I've lived a full life. And then
yes,
when I look at, because I used to work in insurance, so car accidents, so I know what the body goes through when you're in a car accident. But when you think
yeah.
about bull riding, I mean, real bull riding, not the mechanical bull. I mean, the jarring that's putting on your spine and your neck and everything, that's hard. That is
The
really hard.
accident, the injuries that they have, the injuries that they sustain, and the injuries that they ride with and don't tell anyone about. It's just incredible. Oh, I've got a slipped disc, I've got a cracked this, I've got a fractured this, I've got a broken this. They get on that bull and they keep riding.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, they're incredible.
So what do you think? I guess, what do you think is your biggest goal when you come over here back to the States?
Get on a stage. I don't care what stage, small venue, big venue. My fans are, just chomping at the bit for me to get on the stage over there, and I'm going to keep my promise to them, get on the stage over there. I'll head to Nashville. I've got a lot of fans in New York. G'day to everyone in New York. I'll get on a stage in New York. So I've got a lot of fans in Brazil too. I haven't promised them yet because I promised a promise in my family. Man, we sign promises in blood. I'd love to get to Brazil and do a show for my fans, but to get over to the United States and to get on a stage for my fans and just get back face to face with them, that's what I want to do.
Now, do you have a band over there in the States and a band in Australia, or?
I have my band. Yeah, so I have a band that expands and shrinks and expands and shrinks. So I have my band in Australia. My lead guitarist goes everywhere with me. I need him on stage. He's just that person who knows me so well, and he can read me as a performer. I don't have to really give him many cues. He can direct the band to say, "No, she won't be back at that mic for a good 5 minutes. Just let her go." And then when we go over to Nashville, I've made some great friendships in Nashville with some really cool musicians, and I love getting the locals on stage. I'm a big fan of that, and I believe that it's out of respect that I get locals on stage, backing singer locals and guitarist locals, drummer locals, get on stage and show your fellow Nashville people what you can do.
Right. And I mean, it works out because you're going to also draw in those local people's support. They're going to come in to see their
I didn't think
cousin, their
about that.
friend, their
Yeah, but
sister. Yeah.
That's true too. Yeah, for sure. And that's it's a way for their family and friends and loved ones to get out there and have a look and see what they do too. Musicians work really hard. It's a hard slog, and a lot of musicians are struggling right now. And so I'm really proud of everyone I step on stage with. And yeah, bring your loved ones, bring your family, bring all your friends, and let's show them who we are and what we do.
So I want to talk about Hourglass Sand. What made you write that song?
How you going, Donna? Did you like that one?
Yeah.
Okay, Hourglass Sand. Oh, Donna, aren't you sick of the players? The players in this world. My friends date players. I don't know what it is. Players like me. I think that players are drawn to the good girls, and I think they find us a bit of a challenge. And I'm sick of them. I'm sick of all the players in the world. And so I have a friend of my grandma's who's in an aged care facility. And when I go and visit her, I notice that a lot of the same males in the care facility have no visitors. Doesn't matter what time of day I go, or even if it's on a special day, they have no visitors. So I thought, oh, that's really sad. So I started just sitting with them, saying, "G'day, how you going?" And
Yeah.
sneaking in some beer and doing. I'm just having a chat with them.
Yeah.
All Aussie blokes love their beer, and then all of their stories just started having the same thread to them, and talking about the one that got away. One guy said, "We are what you young people call, I was what you young people call a player," he said to me. And it ruined my life. And if I could have my time back again, I would find my one girl. I would find her, and I would love her, and I would be committed to her, and I would dedicate my life to her. Instead, all I've got is a male nurse. And it hit me really hard. And then his confidence, God love him, gave all the other all the other males their confidence to start talking about their life story too, and why they're alone. And it was all very similar. Treated women like playthings. I was a good-looking stud back then, he said, and I'd never settled down. I refused to fall in love. I refused to just choose one girl. And he said, "Now look at where I am. No one will miss me when I'm gone." And I had a joke with them, said, "Y'all are players. Y'all are a bunch of players." And I just tried to lighten the mood because I got a bit sad. I said, "Y'all are a bunch of players." And I took that away with me, thinking, cut it all out. Cut it out, everyone. I've got so many friends who are dating players right now, and they treat them like they treat their girls like garbage. Girls are players too. It cuts both ways. Girls are players too. It definitely cuts both ways. A lot of women out there, a lot of girls out there that are playing. And if there's one thing I took away from that nursing home, it's the fact that cut it out, and before you run out of hourglass sand.
It's a true statement, and I think the internet date. I mean, I have never done internet dating, and
no, that would scare me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so single, Donna. I'm so single. I'm still a Valentine's Day kiss virgin. I've never had a kiss on Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
I've never had a date on Valentine's Day. I'm so single, but I'm just not settling, and I'm not jumping on that internet. Well, I'm all over the internet, but not for dating.
No, well, look, I mean, my husband passed 4 years ago, and I have not. I get hit on Facebook and Goodreads, and it's come on. No, what I like is when I'm on Goodreads and they hit on me, and they're like, they don't realize I'm an author, and it even says in my profile, I'm a Goodreads author, and they're like, "So, what do you like to read?" I'm like, "I'm on here because I'm an author." Oh,
hey, Donna, they're just shooting their shot.
I know they are. Well, and then half of them are scam artists because they're the oil rig worker, the doctor who just lost their wife, blah 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 blah, and they're once again they're players, and they're not even players, they're scammers because next thing they're gonna say is, "I'm a little short on cash. Can you send me a gift card?"
Yeah, I had a fan. I think when you guess your fans, you know what sort of I had a fan, and he's an elderly gentleman, and he's been following me for a long time. And I try to with my really engaged followers, I learn their names, and I like them when when they reach out. I go, oh, that's Fred, or that's George,
Mm-hmm.
or and so this guy reached out and said, I heard Hourglass Sand. I unfollowed you for a good 1.5 minutes, and then I followed you back. He said, because you just sang about my life, young lady. And I just thought that was so funny. It was really, really funny. And it just goes to, and there's so many people who've reached out saying Hourglass Sand, it hit them really hard. It was hard for them to listen to. And then I had, my generation reach out going, you know what? I'm a player, and this has really woken me up. There's a girl I really like. I'm going to quit it. I'm going to, give her my all. And I thought, wow, if I can just change the course of one player's life to not end up like those old dudes in the nursing home, that song's done its work.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I think we have such phobia about commitment. I mean, I was married for 16 years, but I was single between my first marriage and my second marriage for 10 years.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I don't want to play the games. I don't want to do that. And I think that's a big problem. I look at my dad. My dad's 75, and my dad, after they split, went from woman. For a while, he's with one he traded off a little bit in the beginning. Then he would be with one for 3 or 4 years. Then he'd be with another one for 3 or 4 years. And then he started hitting it where it was a longer slog.
Yeah.
But ultimately, my dad still played because his shop was even named Don's Garage and Social Club. So that it's in New Orleans. It was in New Orleans, so you can understand. At 5 o'clock, people pick up cars and bring beer, and there you go.
Yeah.
But he said to me, he can't hear now, so he texts. He says to me one day, he's like, I wouldn't change anything in my life. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, look, some players commit to it to their deathbeds, really. Some players really do. And you're not too sure whether they're fully committed to that or it's just pride.
Exactly. I mean, this is a man, and I've talked about this before, and yes, he's a retired fireman and stuff, but he bragged about the fact that somebody on St. Patrick's Day gave him a pair of ladies' lingerie on a St. Patrick's Day parade, and he dropped trowel in the back of a pickup truck and put it on. And it's like, he was proud that he had a toga party for his 30th birthday. And of course, somebody decides to show me these pictures, and he's full Monty underneath. It's like, I don't need to see these things. So
okay, now daughter's dad, if you're watching this, you got to listen to Hourglass Sand, young man.
He can't hear, so otherwise, and
okay, you'll have to show him the lyrics.
He has never watched a podcast. I mean, that's the thing. When he goes back and says, "Oh, I wouldn't do it differently," it's like, well, you could have been a better dad.
Okay, fair enough. That's right. Yeah.
See, that's the problem with a player, especially. See, they got married. They were 19 and 20, and they were high school sweethearts. So they had this little niche, and then they broke up when they were 27. And when my dad was 27. So therefore, my dad gets to sow his wild oats.
Yeah, see, half of these old dudes in the nursing home, they had kids, but they never bothered to build that relationship with them. They had, kids to several different women, never bothered to build a relationship with the woman or with the kids, and they are alone. I've never seen people look more alone, and that's what Hourglass Sand is. And then, I've got a player interested in me at the moment, and he seems like a decent guy. So, it's just too hot for his own good. But I pride myself on not going there. I pride myself on, no, I'm not interested in you. I'm looking for a soulmate. And if that sounds silly, well, then I don't really care, because I'm a hopeless romantic, and that's what I'm looking for. And the opening line of Hourglass, it's you seem to flirt with every girl in town. Mm-hmm. And while you're doing that, you're missing out on the best girl around.
Well, and that's a perfect line. But what I was going to say is, what you were saying about the fact that some of these men have multiple children with multiple women, and they never bothered with a relationship. So these people these children, we'll just use the children, they're not aware of intimacy. They don't know how to interact, especially if it's a girl and her father. They're not going to understand. And I mean, it's not this, I'm not sexualizing it, but they
No,
don't
not at
understand
all. I
how to,
understand.
yeah, they don't
Yeah.
understand how to communicate with a male because that male figure can't be bothered.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So I think I've been really fortunate. My brothers are just all, and my cousins, all my male cousins. I'm the only girl in the family. So I'm surrounded by male cousins, male brothers, and all my uncles, and they're all really sweet people who have been brought up to treat women with just like jewels. You treat them with respect. You're kind. You're considerate. And that's been really good for me. And then it's also good for me to see my friends what they're going through and just write in my journal about them, because what they put up with from men, I don't know why y'all are doing that. There are good men out there, really good guys out there, and go find yourself one of the really good ones, because they're out there, they exist, and yay for them.
But I think it's easier because we're told that for some reason we're attracted to the bad boy, and maybe that has to do, once again, if you don't have the proper relationship and the proper guidance and a relationship with a father figure. I mean, they always talk about father figure relationships with boys, but it's the same with a woman, same with a girl.
Mm,
If you don't have that father
mm,
relationship, then how are you going to know that this guy's a player? I look at my late husband's father. He was a little bit older than my dad, but I respected this man. He
mm.
treated he was more of a father figure than my own father.
Yeah, that's right. And you just need that one great male role model in your life to learn, wow, okay, hang on a second, there's a different way, and that's how you treat a girl, and that's how you treat members of your family. And it's a powerful person to have in your family.
Hmm.
It really is. So these players, and why are the bad boys always so hot, Donna? Like, what's going on with that?
You're gonna
When did
go ahead, Sue.
did it come? When did it get there? Like, that's what my song "Doomed Romance" was about. It was about why. I know it's doomed from the start. That's what it's called. It's doomed from the start. Romance. Be so hot, and he's a bad boy, but I got to, why they were so hot.
Well, I have a friend who it's funny because I had a male model coming on the show, and she looked at him. She goes, "That's just drama and a headache." What? She goes, "If a guy has to spend that much time at the gym, he's not going to
Yep.
care enough about you, and that's just drama and a headache." That's why I say that. So when I see a guy that looks that good, I know he's nothing but drama and a headache.
My cousin, that's great. I love it. You know what my cousin says? Never date a guy who spends more time in the bathroom getting ready than you.
True, true statement. Because if they're going to spend that much time primping, are they even going to notice you?
Yeah, that's right. Or peacocking. Peacocking in Australia is when you're in a mall or somewhere and they can't walk past a mirror without
Wow.
giving themselves a little bit of a glance.
Yeah, see, I mean, my generation guys were starting to get to the point where they were looking, trying to fix themselves up to look good all the time. But it's gotten to the point where, yeah, you better look good if you're a guy. You better do the facial products and everything else. My
Yeah.
my
Oh, look, nothing wrong with that. Just I think you can look good and be
mhm.
great and be completely hot as anything, but without the ego involved.
That's a
Because
hard
it's
thing.
the ego that makes
Yeah.
you ugly, y'all. It's the ego that chips away at that hot exterior
It
eventually.
it's very true, but I don't know that they see past the ego because there was a gentleman actually from Australia that I interviewed, and he was a kid at 11, and he wanted that perfect Facebook profile picture.
Right.
And so he got it and he worked on it, and I think he was 13 at the time, 13 to 14,
Yeah.
and he didn't get the satisfaction, so he went and jumped off a building. He survived. He's learned how to walk. He has become an advocate for trying to
Oh,
help
God love
children
him.
and stuff. But
Yep.
yeah, it's but that's the thing, our media drives this, oh, you better look good. you better look a
Yeah,
certain
God love
way.
him. Oh, look, there's a lot of people out there that just feel so much pressure from social media to to look perfect and to to be this certain look. But God made us all very unique for a reason, and I think that you got to rock what you got, and you got to love what you got. And in the eyes of your soulmate, you will be absolutely perfect. So you just keep on looking for them because they're looking for you too.
Right. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be introduced to my late husband through a friend, and at a certain point, he was basically legally blind. So
Right.
but that being said, I had to, after he passed, it's like, oh, now I actually have to start taking better care of myself because it didn't matter how I looked. He didn't care how I looked.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure.
but then after a
And you were
certain point,
married, did you say you were married for 16 years?
yeah, yeah.
Wow. I don't think I've even had 16 dates in a row.
Well, wait, let me be fair here. My first marriage, we were together 3 years, lived together for
Yeah.
3 years, and when
Yeah.
we got married, it didn't last a year.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Mm.
as my late husband used to joke, he's like, "Yeah, you have to get that first one under the belt because his first marriage, it didn't last a year either."
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hopefully you can have better luck and turn that around if you ever decide to go that route. But it's yeah, it was it. But here's the thing: he was my best friend, and we didn't have the normal. Our marriage was different. I mean, it really was.
Yeah.
He had health
Yeah.
issues, so
Okay. Yeah.
but he was my best
Yeah.
friend.
I'm sorry to hear that, Giles. Hard to lose your best friend.
It was,
Yeah.
but I kind of signed up and knew it.
Okay. But still hard to
Yeah. Oh,
lose.
well, yeah. I mean, it was the whole,
Yeah.
me being gallant at first, like, it's better to love you and lose you than never to love you at all. And on the other
Yeah.
side of that, after he was gone, it's kind of like, yeah, you signed up for it to be abandoned. Thank you very much. You did that. And but that's something, I think that's the thing. We make choices and we don't realize how much trauma maybe we haven't healed as
No,
adults.
that's right. That's right. And, as well as, that trauma that you feel, you probably felt, a love as well that many people will never feel.
Right.
So, there's those two sides to the coin, and you've got to, to put a coin in, my grandma says to put a coin in your pocket, you've got to have two sides. So you've got to accept those two sides, and, I hope they sound like they just balanced out beautifully. So, you had the love, you've got some trauma, and it probably just makes you unique, awesome person that you are, Donna.
Thank you. When we talk about players, it's like for you, it's like you have to. I think when people see you, you're going to have the players come to you because you have this vibrant personality. You're beautiful, and it's like they're going to come to you because not only that, you have your career, and you are everything that they think that they can aspire to. So you
That's sweet of you.
for you, I feel like it's going to be a little harder for you because you really have to vet the person that you're
I
going to be with.
I know it's really difficult to date, and you don't know the reasons that they're dating you. Do they actually like you? Do they actually like your personality? I'm not too sure. I don't like you just don't know. But I step away from that, and even all my mates. They go through the same questions. Do they really like me for me, or do so? I think we're pretty much all in a in a similar boat in this very murky. I don't even know the rules of I don't even know the rules of dating anymore. I like, what are they? I have no idea. Hey going, you want to hang? What does that mean anymore? You want to hang? No, I don't want to hang. What's hang?
Yeah, hanging was never a good thing for, but hanging out, sure, but hanging,
You
no.
want to hang, or you want to hang, you want to chill, you want to vibe, you want to vibe. What you want to vibe? I don't know what that. I just think, oh my God, can someone just say, hey, would you like to go and see this new movie with me? Or hey, you want to go to Macca's and eat a Big Mac? I understand those questions.
Yeah, those are simple, but I mean, going back to when I was with my first marriage, when I was living with him, I constantly questioned why he loved me. I always
Oh,
wanted to know why he loved me. So that's
yeah,
kind of the same
yeah,
thing for you. It's like I think with age we get to a point where it's like, well, they love you for whatever. You just accept that they love you. If it's a real
yeah.
relationship and you feel the connection, you just accept it. You're not questioning it. But when we're younger, I think we question it because everybody's a player. Everybody's got an
They
agenda.
are. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them. So many players. It just seems to be, all I meet at the moment is just players. So, and I'm not biting. I'm not going there. I'm standing firm, Donna, and saying no.
So, what are your music besides coming over to the States? What
Yep.
other music do you have coming out?
I have my debut album coming out on Friday. I'm so
Congratulations.
excited about it. This is a dream come true for me. It's my debut album. I'm super excited. Uh, I poured my heart and soul into every note, into every word. It's self-produced. I chucked a Prince on this one. Every word is mine. I produced it. I really just needed it to all be mine. It's really rare for a new artist to do this. But for me, it was really important. I'm super proud of it. I had a great Yoda. I produced my first album under the guidance of Brad and Williams. Grammys, Arias, every
Mhm.
award that you can think of, and he really just took me under his I say Yoda wing. And I was just his young apprentice, and I learnt so much, and I poured my heart into every detail. And the cover of the album, it still brings a tear to my eye. My artist Joel Garza, he did the graphic work and the design of the cover. I had this idea. I always bring him, Joel, these ideas, and he says, "What?" And then he makes it happen.
Nice.
So he's just anyone who just wants some, great logos or album covers. Joel Garza, artist. He's a freak as far as talent is concerned. He's just insane. So I'm so proud of the cover. Makes me cry. The cover's beautiful, and the insides of that album. I just hope everyone just loves it, because it's I love it. It was important for me to have an album from go to woe, cover, songs, everything about that album, where I can look back on it in 20 years' time and still love it and still think it's cool. You see these interviews of artists, who are sort of like, older, and they say, "Oh my God, I was so embarrassed by that," or "I was so embarrassed by that cover. I was so embarrassed." I know in my heart that in 20 years' time, I'm not going to look back on this album and be embarrassed by a thing. And that was really important for me.
Well, and what you say, that's very true, because somebody will ask, so do you really hate playing such and such song after 20 years? It's a crowd
Yeah.
favorite, but are you really sick of playing it? That's
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And I still love it. I listen to my own music, and it's kind of funny when you've got your playlist happening, and I'm jamming in my 4x4, and I'm driving to the beach, and my song comes up, and then that split second, oh, I love this song. You go to turn it up, you go, holy moly, that's mine. Yeah, so I still get that buzz out of my own music, and I love that.
so you definitely do not suffer from imposter syndrome.
What's that?
Imposter syndrome is where you release something and
Yeah.
then you're going, can I do this again? I don't know if I can do this again. Like me as an author, released my first book, and then I'm like, can I do this again? Is somebody going to like my
Oh,
book?
okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, yeah, no, I don't suffer from that. I've got so many songs. I'm already working on new songs, and looking forward to working on a second album, and so no, I don't suffer from that. I've got heaps of songs, and they just flow through my brain really easily.
So are you going to be, I mean, with the acting, I would assume that the acting leads to a natural ability to do music videos without a problem.
Yeah, for sure. So they know that for sure. So it's kind of funny. I was down at the beach. I've had a big surfing stack. I'm quite injured at the moment. I've got a big gash on my leg, and I've got a sprained wrist and sprained foot. You should see me. I'm a bit banged up. But that particular day before the accident, this lady came up to me and says, "Yeah, are you JD Reynolds? I said, yeah. And she goes, oh, hi. She introduced herself. She's a movie director out here in Australia. And she said, I'd love for you to, to be a lead in one of my upcoming projects at the end of the year. She says, I watch your music videos. And she actually said, you can just tell that you are a natural, which is really, really, I just get so humbled when people say that, especially someone of her caliber. So she's out here at the beach with her family, and just happened to recognize me, and then we just started chatting, which was really cool. So I'd love to get into acting and do more acting, and I'd love to do film. Big fan of film, and yeah, I'd love to do a big movie. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be very cool. But I will say this. You're gonna have to lay off the surfing. I hate to say that, but
I know. Well, the thing is, I'm a really confident surfer. I'm confident. This happened. It was you might not have heard about it. You could probably Google it. There was pretty much like a freak weather system traveling through the east coast of Australia, all the way from Christmas Day for over the next few weeks, and there were these freak waves happening, and the undertow was. I've never seen anything like it in all my. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I'm an experienced surfer, but there was a freak wave. I was surfing on the freak wave that washed all of those sunbathers in off the sand, and I was just lucky that there were a lot of experienced and pro surfers out there at the beach that day, and got out there and saved a lot of people. But I was actually surfing on that freak wave, and I felt it. I don't know. It was weird. I felt it going, oh, something's wrong here. It's kind of like I'm a skateboarder too. So you get the death wobbles on your skateboard. And you think, what's going on with this wave? And it sucked me under, literally like a claw just pulled me under. I barrel rolled and I banged. It sucked me so far under. I hit a reef, and it just smashed. It just took my foot out. And then just gave me a big gash in my leg. And I mean, I'm fine. Nothing's broken, thank God. I'm all good. Yeah. So, but there was this little old lady, God love her. She was I was paddling out to try to get back onto the sand, after my board took me back up out of the wave, and I was paddling into the shore, and this lady was just screaming, and she was stuck in her beach chair, inside of her beach chair. I thought, oh, I can't let her do that. So I rang out, I screamed out. I said, "Hun," I said, "you're in a rip. Just let it take you." I said, I'll come and I'll get you. I said, just let it take you. I'm going to swim around it, and I'll just let the rip take you, and I'll see you on the other side of it. So I paddled out, and I threw her. That's how I did my wrist, because I threw her, and she was stuck in it. So I had to put her in the chair. Just one of those beach, those camping chairs, a beach camping chair, just so lightweight. Threw her and the chair on the board. And I got her in, but that's how I did my wrist. But anyway, now she's God love her. She was crying, and I love you. And she's so sweet. She was 82.
There's a media story for you. There is a story.
Yeah, she's 82. Now she wants to leave me her house. And I said, honey, that's your house. Look, all good. Like, I'm happy I was there. But yeah, we've just had these freak weather, all the way across Australia at the moment. So all the visitors out here, if you come to Australia, please swim between the flags, help the lifesavers out.
Yeah, people will just, they think that they're invincible and they can do anything. And even if you're, like you're a professional surfer, you've been doing this for years, but one wave can wreck you. And the only reason, the only reason I was saying you would have to stop that, because I know that when you work on a production, they're going to put an insurance policy on you, and then they're going to say, no.
Yeah. I've signed modeling deals, for different campaigns, and no bruises, no tan lines,
no cutting your hair.
Yeah, don't. I'm lucky because I'm a natural blonde, so the whole family's blonde.
Nice.
So no tan lines, no fake tattoos. So you get. So I know in movies it would be to the extreme. No bruises, no this, no that. But that's cool. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you get to do what you want, and I mean, if you're on set and you're working, and I worked on a TV show for a while. And the fact is, it's a great feeling to do it. It's great to be able to do something you really, really love.
Yeah. Oh, it's a baby, beautiful 4-legged baby there.
I have 2 4-legged babies. One ran downstairs and one is over here. If I if I put them
Yeah.
away during the podcast, then they're just going to bark all the time. And yeah,
Oh, God love you. Yeah,
yeah.
I love dogs. Big dog
So
fan.
I
Yeah,
have
so no, I would love to do more acting. I'm going to take this lady up on her offer to be one of her leads and that on her film. So yeah, stay tuned, y'all. Stay tuned.
awesome. That is awesome. But then that means you're not permanently relocating to Nashville. That means you'll
Oh no,
be
no, that's right. No, I'm going to be flying back and forth. No, I'll be racking up some frequent flyer miles for sure. It'll be just back and forth. I love both countries. My grandpa was what he called an Osmerican. He loved America, and so he was in the armed forces, served for the United States of America and Australia. So we're really proud of him. And so he's always called us Americans, the whole bunch of us. So yeah, got a real strong passion for both countries. And I just want to, if I could just, if you all weren't just so far away, I could.
well, I mean, is it like a 20,
happily
is it a 24-hour flight?
Oh, look, it's pretty insane. Some of the new jets can get us there in 14 and a half hours, but that is if you get good tailwinds. So, but if you're lagging, it can take 18. But if you've got good tailwinds and a pilot that's clever enough and talented enough to jump on those tailwinds and say, right, we're in the pocket, let's go. Kind of reminds me of the turtles in Finding Nemo. So if the pilots can jump on that and get us to America, it can take as little as 13 hours. But if you miss those tailwinds, I was talking to a pilot about it, and he says if you miss them, it's a crawl.
Did you know anything about the project that you might be doing as far as being the lead in? Is it going to be a
No,
drama, a
I know
comedy?
nothing. No, it's so secretive. I know nothing. I know in all my modeling, my modeling deals that I've done, I've got a no nudity clause. It's something that I'm really passionate about. So it would be the same with my acting. No nudity clause. I'm happy to be in a bikini in lingerie or whatever. But I'm a good Christian girl, and I'm really strong in my beliefs, and that was one of the first things I said to her. I said, well, I know it's acting and you want me as a lead, or the only thing is I won't shave my head. I said, I won't shave my head, and I will have a nil nudity clause. And she said, I love you.
Well, and I mean, I think nowadays there's kind of a backlash from what I was reading in an article the other day that the younger generations are saying we don't want nudity in a movie for just nudity's sake. And even for a sex scene, it doesn't add anything to the movie. I don't want to watch, I'm going to be blunt, I don't want to watch somebody dry hump somebody. That's how it was
Yeah,
put in the article, that
right.
it's just nobody wants
Yeah.
to see that anymore.
But yeah, absolutely. I think that I've always believed that there's a hopeless romantic in all of us, regardless of whether we want to admit it or not. And I think it's though I like watching movies, about people just, I don't know, just, falling in love and they're my favorite kinds of movies. I also like action movies, cars, spinning around in the air and,
Yeah.
I like realistic movies. I'm not one for lasers coming out of your eyes and I'll star in one for sure. But I won't sit down and pretty much watch one because I think I like immersing myself in a movie and thinking and maybe just immersing yourself in a movie, if that makes any sense.
Well, no, it makes sense. Would you consider doing comedy?
Oh yeah.
Because I think you would be a natural at comedy because you know you're bubbly and you have a very vivacious personality, so I would think you'd be a natural at it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, look, I'm really open-minded about my acting, and I love playing different roles. I'll play anything from a bubbly school kid to a serious murderous serial killer. So I really don't. I just love acting. Yeah, I just love acting, and
so what is more your passion, music or acting?
Oh, music.
Okay.
Yeah, music. Yeah, music all the way, for sure. Music. I love music. I love writing music. I love singing. I am more at home on a stage than I am in my own lounge room. It's a feeling I get. I love my fans. I love them singing along with my music and singing along with my lyrics. And I think to myself, you know, a little piece of your heart. That was another another one of my number ones. I think it stayed at number one for 3 weeks in a row.
Wow.
And uh, you know, when you sing it and then you see your fans singing along with it, sometimes you just got to look away because you think, okay, if I don't look away, I'm going to start bubbling, you know, crying and not being able to finish a vocal. But you know, a little piece of your heart's a really emotional song of mine. It's my big, you know, my big ballad, and so. But I love singing. There's no competition. It's music,
So
music all the way.
what made you write Little Piece of My Heart?
Oh, look,
You
it
brought it
was a
up.
boy. It was a boy. It was
Of
a
course.
boy. And a beautiful, beautiful song. And people say, you know, people say to you, you know, they ask me about a little piece of your heart. And I think it's about meeting someone and a lot of outside noise saying they're not right for you, you're complete opposites. And you know in your heart that this person is just a sensational person with a heart of gold, and you go for it anyway, and you ignore your mum and you ignore your brothers, and you date this person anyway, and that's what a little piece of your heart is. And it is, you know, I don't care if I don't own a house or a yacht or a boat or a car, you know, I can hitch to where you are. There's only one thing that you want to own, and that's a little piece of each other's heart, you know, to call our own.
Yeah. Sweet.
Wow. Yeah,
Sweet.
so it's a special song, really emotional song, and I just, you know, it's one of those songs where uh, you think, oh my gosh, should I put this out here? Should I do it? And then I think, no, if I'm so moved by this, my fans only deserve the very best of me, so I only give them the very best.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes as a writer, whether it be a songwriter or a writer, you have to put yourself out there and be vulnerable. And that is a risky thing because yeah, it's an amazing thing to connect with somebody, but then you have the people that might want to come after you because you did say something vulnerable and they might want to use it
Yeah, for
against you.
sure. For sure. You know, it's kind of like, you know, somebody said to me, they were listening to my stuff in the car the other day, and they were driving around because I can't drive at the moment. But they were driving around and they had my songs in the car, and they were just listening to A Little Piece of Your Heart, and they just turned around and he said, "Man, Jane, you are a therapist. This is therapeutic stuff." So that was really cool. I love that reaction, and it's kind of like self-therapy, really, writing songs and putting
Mhm.
all your feelings out there, and dealing with it, and dealing with breakups, and dealing with dating with your bad boys, and you know, dealing with breaking up with them, and then you know, being on the rebound. I've got a song called Rebound, and so you never have to. I love how my fans never have to ask me, "Hey, JD, is that true?" They hear
Yeah.
songs, is that true? Because they always know it's true.
So, would you ever consider being on a musical theater production, like on Broadway, if you had the opportunity?
I guess it would have to be the right show. Hey, yeah, it would have to be the right show with the right vibe, with the right songs, and the right concept. Yeah, I think so. I think it would have to be the right kind of fit for me. I'd have to just really believe in it to do it, I reckon.
I just figure because it's music and it's acting, and so or you could
Yeah,
always you could always get really ambitious and write your own.
yeah. See, that'd be cool. I could
Yeah,
write kind of like a country music, country music, yeah, musical. Yeah, I could do
yeah,
that.
yeah. You could.
Yeah. So, you know, like it would be a dream come true to do, you know, a movie such as Elvis, you know, Moulin Rouge,
I was going
um,
to suggest
you
Moulin
know,
Rouge actually.
walk the line.
Hmm.
That would be an absolute dream come true for me to do a movie like that, where it is you're showing off your music skills, you're showing off your acting skills, you're showing off your dance skills, all the skills that I've, you know, all the skills that
Hmm.
I've got. That would be a dream come true to do a movie like that, where I've got I've got all the tools in the toolbox, throw them all out, and it's in one movie. How cool would that be?
Well, see, that's what one of the theater when I was asking about theater, I actually was thinking Moulin Rouge because that is such an impactful performance.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
I haven't seen the
unbelievable.
theater production for it. Right now, from what I
Yeah.
heard, Boy George was doing the Zig Ziglar role, which I have to think that would be pretty amazing because he's pretty over the top. So,
Oh,
or the
I
Henry
really
Ziegler.
like Boy George. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I do. Yeah, for sure.
So that would
So my mum was a fan of Boy George, I got to tell you. Yeah, she really liked him too. So I know who that is. Sometimes people drop names to me and I go, I don't know who that is. Should I say something?
no,
But
I
I
get
do know who that is.
I get it. I look, I've mentioned NXS before, and somebody's like, who?
Oh
And
no, I know who In Excess is. Yeah, no,
I
yeah,
know you do.
I know who the Aussie legends are. Yeah,
Yeah.
we embrace our Aussie legends out here
Yeah.
for sure.
Because I mean,
Michael Hutchence,
yes,
Michael Hutchence, singer in Excess. What? Okay, when I, I mean, way before my time, but when you look back and look at his stuff, and my mum was a fan, and she shows you stuff, and you think, oh my goodness, who is this guy? He was the epitome of a rock star, I reckon, that dude.
I got to see them in New Orleans in 1986, and I got to meet Michael. And the fun part was we were staying at the same hotel. We were staying at the same hotel, and we were waiting for our other friends to show up. It was a girls' trip, so two of us got there early, and we're waiting for the other four to get there. And so my friend and I are like, let's go by the pool. And it's like dark. It's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. So it might have been a little later, and we're waiting for them. And so it's kind of dark and a little dusk. And out comes this guy with his girlfriend. It's Michael wearing a Speedo.
Well, who was he with?
He was with Michelle Bennett at the time. So that was this is 1986. So this is before Kick came out. This is with Listen Like Thieves. And so he comes out in this black Speedo, and it's just like trying not to look because we just went out there to just kill time. And it's just like
That's
trying
so
not to.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. We got,
That's so cool.
yeah. So we got,
Yeah.
so they had it. We tried to give them some privacy, but yeah, we saw the bass player late the next day at the pool, and we rode the elevator with Tim, the guitarist. And then when they were leaving, we were out there and we took pictures with Michael. And then Kirk comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, where can I get a sandwich?" And I didn't live in New Orleans anymore, and I'm just like, I don't know.
That's such a cool story.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. And I
That's
mean, I,
yeah.
I was too at the time. I didn't. We just took a group photo where we took pictures of Michael. We didn't actually pose with him, and I really wish, looking back, that we would have done that because it would have been really cool to have
Wow.
a picture with him.
Yeah, my mum really liked him. Yeah, my mum was a big fan, sort of like just fangirled out, with over Michael Hutchence.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
mean,
that was
and he's now one of my characters. I don't know how that all happened, but one of the characters I created ended up kind of his looks and everything was inspired by Michael. And it's like I don't know
wow.
how that happened because I wasn't gaga about Michael, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's
So
a cool story. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we love our Aussie legends out here. So, and when I try to, I like to flip through my mum's, collection of music, what she was listening to, as a girl, and just sort of, and I think, oh wow, who's this? Who's this? And then she tells me, okay, yeah, well, this is In Excess, and this
the
is,
models,
I go, yeah, cool.
the models, hunters
I
and
didn't know.
collectors, those were people that all came from
Oh,
Australia.
I've heard of that. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
So
yep.
yeah, I had my little I was a little British girl. I liked my British bands and I liked my little Aussie bands and yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
cool.
yeah.
No, so that's a cool story. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that one.
So
Yeah,
now you
just
can
rocking his speedos. That's so
yeah.
Aussie.
And then he's making out with her and it's just like, all right, we really should go. We really should just
Oh,
go.
I don't think he would care, would he?
Oh, he
He's
wasn't.
so
He was
quite a
he
rock star,
glanced
wasn't
over
he?
at us a couple of times and it was just kind of like, okay, we shouldn't be here, but this is rather entertaining, but we really
That's
shouldn't be
cool.
here. So
Yeah. Oh, look, you were there first.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and it was really sad because I mean, when he did his solo record, it was really good. So I can only imagine the music he would have been capable of making had he lived.
Mm.
So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, you're right. You're right. I think the same with Prince. Uh,
mm-hmm.
I loved Prince. My mum was a huge Prince fan, so she introduced me to Prince's music. And I often think to myself, I wonder what Prince would be doing. I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm about to post something on social media, and I think I miss my, you miss your idol,
Oh
when you look
yeah.
up to someone so much,
Yeah.
and I miss him. I think, I wonder what he'd be doing. I wonder what he'd be writing. I wonder what his Instagram page would look like.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I just miss him so much, because I think you need your idols to look up to, especially as an artist. You just need those people to, and look, I'll forever look up to him. But I'd just love to know what he's doing right now.
It would be interesting to see, because he got to a point too where he was, I don't want to say anti-music industry, but he knew the music industry was kind of, I don't want to say crumbling, but not as being as artist friendly as it had been.
He warned us. He warned us. He was the one artist out there who was just so pro artist. He, from the little artist to the big artist, he treasured all artists across all genres. That's what I think I love about him the most. And he was warning us. He was just saying, the way the music industry is going, don't buy into it. Don't go along with it. But
Well, and I
look at
mean,
it.
I worked in radio, and I was talking to somebody yesterday about the fact that everything, when I worked in radio back in 95, in 93, I was programming the songs I wanted to play. In 95, it was all computerized. And so I
Yeah,
didn't have the choice. And that's the thing. It's like now it's definitely pay to play. You don't have the
yeah,
you have one person that's programming everything. So it's not even like
that's
you can
right.
call in the radio station and get the song you want played, because
That's right. Yeah. So look, Prince warned us. I remember him harping on about it a lot. And why didn't we listen? I think that it's going to take big voices. I think Snoop Dogg's coming out now. He's starting to use his voice about it. He's quite vocal about, and let's all face it, we're talking about streaming.
well, yeah.
I don't beat around the bush. Books are going the same way. I've got a lot of, one of my friends, Brooke, she's an author. She's saying to herself, you used to have to go to a bookstore, and people would be excited to go to a bookstore and buy a $40 book and have the author sign it. And now, she said, you can listen to my book for, for people paying a couple of bucks a month. She said, they're struggling. Artists are struggling.
Right.
And Snoop Dogg is starting to talk about it, and I really respect him for that, because I think the more the big artists talk about how how big tech is not doing kind things to artists. I think the more big artists that talk about it, the better. And congratulations, Snoop Dogg, for using your voice and standing up for all artists, not just yourself. He actually talks about all artists and how much we're struggling with big tech taking advantage.
Well, and even if you don't, there was another thing that came up. It was either Nikki Sixx or Tommy Lee from Motley Crue that they shared. This other guy who was talking about the record companies. Like, the record companies now don't look at talent. They don't look at what talent you have. If you have a social media campaign or a social media following of a large number, they're going to give you a contract. Doesn't matter if you could sing on stage or not. You are now signed because you have a following. So therefore, we don't have to build a market. You're set in stone, and that's not fair to artists either. And what you're saying about authors, I've talked about that, because like Kindle Unlimited, yeah, we're going to pay you per page read. We're going to pay you like 0.0003 cents for a page
Yeah,
read. And that's why I don't do, my books are not on Kindle Unlimited. They're not on a subscription. You either buy it or you don't.
yeah,
And if you
yeah,
can't afford it, then come
yeah,
talk to me. And the thing
yeah.
is, it's not only that, we have pirates. And I'm sure it's the same
Mm,
way at the music industry. It's
mm,
like we have book pirates that will, and the thing is, they don't even, I know they don't always have the book, because I hadn't even released this book yet. In fact, still hasn't been released, but they claim
yeah.
to have a copy of it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's
yeah.
like, and they even gave it a review. I'm like, well, that's pretty darn interesting. I'm being pirated, and
Yeah,
I'm
for
being paid for the
sure.
book.
But yeah, but no, look, Prince warned us, and we should have listened. And it can be really disheartening, and but you just got to hope that things change, and that your organic, real talent rises to the surface above all the noise. And I always say, if you find an artist, a real artist that you really like, jump on their websites, jump on jdreynoldsofficial.com, and just buy a phone cover, buy a T-shirt, buy a poster, because you make more money out of selling a poster or a T-shirt than you do, putting an album up on a streaming service.
Which I had. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. So, it's just, I don't think people realize that, a lot of people who are not in the music industry go, oh, isn't it wonderful? I can pay, $5 a month as a student and I get all these songs for free. And I say to my friends, it's not free. The albums cost thousands of dollars. Your engineers, your vocal engineers, your producer, your musicians. It's thousands of dollars to put out music, and just because you buy a car doesn't mean you get the petrol for free. People say, oh, I bought an Apple phone, I should have Apple Music for free. It's not. When did music become free? I don't get it.
Well, it's the same thing with a book, though, because with a book, you have an editor, you have all these little cover artists, you have all these little bits and pieces, and everybody wants that book to be perfect. But that book alone could cost you $1,000 to create. And
bargain. I mean, well, you're right. You're right. I mean, we step into the, you step into the studio, you're starting to create a song, and you think, okay, I'm gonna, here's $5K just for the production. That doesn't include studio time and engineers' times, and so people are going, oh, who isn't this great? But I just don't. I think people have got to realize that. If you don't really start supporting, your organic artists who you absolutely, who you love, who you admire, and who you really enjoy listening to their stuff, look, you might be, streaming their stuff, but also purchase something, purchase a record, purchase a T-shirt, and really support them, because there is just no money in streaming.
I did have to share something. We're going to wrap this up, but I did have to go here because my friend and I were talking about this. Your scalpers, it was $400 for a ticket for your show. Their tickets, there are concert tickets here that start out at $600 in some aspects. And I'm just like, and I remember back in the 90s, that was the scalper's price for front row over in this country.
Right.
Now, no. So I had to laugh because
I know. Yeah, that was funny. They so the event that I sang out at PBR, that sold out very quickly. PBR announced me. They put on their social media platforms, JD Reynolds performing live at this particular event, and it sold out exceedingly quickly. It was one of their quickest sellout events, in history. So it just went boom, straight sold out. And then they started getting inundated with calls. Oh my gosh, we need to go see JD Reynolds. We've got to get there. And so PBR contacted me and said, JD, please just get on all your social and say, look, we love, from a message from PBR, we love y'all. We love the JD Reynolds enthusiasm, but it's sold out. We're going to have pretty much semi-trailers blocking that entrance. If you don't have an authentic ticket, you won't get in. And then this rumor popped up that I was doing a pop-up concert in the car park, and that was really bad. People started buying all these scalpers tickets. And the funny thing is, when I was in the event, I met a couple of the people who came down from Queensland for the event, and they did actually have scalpers tickets, and they paid $400 a pop for them. There was 4 of them, and they paid for it. And I just said, you guys, you could have been blocked at the, you could have been blocked at the gates. And I know that we got good ones. And but yeah, that was a really good event. And my fans went crazy, and I love them for that.
That's awesome.
They're so enthusiastic. I love them. But yeah, it's $400. Pretty much. It's compared to concert tickets at the moment, it's a bargain. And I really do think that concert tickets are pricey. And I know a lot of artists out there are saying, I don't control pricing tickets. Well, they do get a say. So I think that, and you know what, they need to make money, because on a stage is the only place that they're making a little bit of money. They are not making money out of streaming. So you look at these, these streams, you go, oh my gosh, that, their song's got 1 million streams. What's that? you say, oh yeah, it's $3,000. Well, look, take all of your
Mm-hmm.
writers' fees, your production fees, your producers' fees, your engineers, your musos, maybe management, maybe you've signed a deal. I mean, out of that million streams, your artists themselves are probably lucky to make $100.
Well, and
Um,
I was going to say, you were talking, in excess when they did the Wembley, they played Wembley, and they have a concert video of it. And you know how
yeah.
much the band made off of it? As far as that show, how much they made at that gig?
Oh no, tell me.
Zero.
Oh, donuts,
I
donuts.
think they
Yeah,
said maybe $50, but I mean, it was like between the champagne, the helicopter, this, and all these other little.
yeah,
There
yeah.
was like there was nothing. There was nothing. I mean,
Hey, you
granted,
know
they
what?
got money back with the video
Yeah,
ticket, but
it's to the stage where I was talking to my guitarist the other day. He actually called me a couple of days ago and just said, "Yeah, we're going to get on the road. How you healing?" I said, "Yeah, I'm getting there." But he was just saying, if we do a worldwide tour and we come out even, we're going to be laughing.
yeah,
That'll be great. And I think, wow, we're going to be putting so much effort into this, and we give it everything we've got, and it's going to cost thousands of dollars for me to tour. And then for people to say, look, if we come out even, it's a great thing. It's kind of like, and I like to put it into terms where people can understand. So if you are a hairdresser and someone says to you, all right, I want you to do 6 months of hairdressing. I want you to be on your feet 24/7. I want you to live and breathe hairdressing. You'll be hairdressing thousands of people's hair, but in 6 months' time, you will come out even. You won't make any money.
I get it. I get it. I mean, because these are the things that people don't consider. They don't consider that you guys have to sign a contract with the venue. That's the venue cost. There's the electricity cost for the lights. There's the liability policy and any insurance policy waivers that you may have
Oh,
to
they're
have
a
in place.
killer. The insurance
Deductibles. I
policies. Yeah.
mean, yeah. So I mean, people don't look at that. They think of, oh, it's just a show. But no, there's all this minutia that goes around that show, because then you have to have the stage, what kind of background drop are you using for your stage? If you're just a simple band, then you have a simple band. But if you're a bigger name talent, you're going to have a stage production, and that's going to cost. And then you're going to have your costumes that you're going to change into. And I mean, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So, so I just say to everyone out there, who is listening right now, who is a mechanic, a hairdresser, who you work and you work hard and you work hard for your money. It's kind of like saying, right, go and do your trade for 6 months, and then you'll come out even.
Yeah. I mean, granted, it's joyful to have people sing along with you and
Yeah.
love your music, but you also need to be able to survive.
That's right. Yeah. So I need to be able to, needed to be able to survive, and every cent that comes in, I invest it straight back into my fans. I invested in my music. I don't buy stuff.
Mhm.
I've got a beaten up old truck, and it gets me from. I love my truck, and it gets me from A to B, and so we don't buy stuff. We are making music for y'all, and it ain't cheap. It ain't cheap to make music. It's thousands of dollars.
Well, and it's like when we'll use Johnny Depp. They were talking about Johnny Depp when he did Pirates. He has a $10 million salary. Okay. But then we also have a manager. We also have an accountant. We also have a lawyer. And it's the same thing with you guys. You have a PR firm. You have to pay that PR person, and that PR person books me. And I mean, it's not that I'm making any money, but you understand what I'm getting at. I know
That's
you know
right.
understand, but other
Yeah.
people, when they look at entertainment, they're like, oh, it's so wonderful. I'm going to make all this money. No, 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 no.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You talk, you hear about these horror stories of big artists out there who are who are dead busted broke, because their record company owns them. They own
Mm-hmm.
them. They've signed these 360 deals where everything is repayable, and that's something that Prince warned everybody about too. When he wrote "Slave" on his cheek, just read the writing, read your contract, and
Yeah.
you're so. I think musicians work really hard. We've all got big dreams. That's why we get into it. And so someone starts waving a contract around and offering for you to have your big dreams come true. It's very tempting to just grab the nearest Sharpie and give it and give it a signature without really reading the fine print. So, I love what I do. I love my fans, and I'm so excited for this album to come out on Friday. I really hope y'all just, go to my socials, JD Reynolds official, jump on. I run all of my socials. I can promise you that. And a promise is a promise in our family. Promise I run all my socials. So if you reach out to me on Instagram, if you reach out to me on any of my forums, it is me that you are speaking to. I don't have any admin working for me at all.
Well, I was going to say if there's anything you needed to add, I think you've already done that. So I thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you, JD.
You've been awesome. It's just like talking to a bestie. I've really, really enjoyed this. Thank you so much, and thank you to all your listeners out there. And God bless y'all.
Thanks. You might have heard my voice hosting the Better To podcast, but did you know I'm also the mastermind behind the Better to Burnout book series? The stories unravel the lives of Nigel Hartigan, the groovy bassist of Sambuca Fedora, the stunning singer-model Ava Richards, and the suave record executive singer Russell Langford. Love, romance, and drama run rampant as their lives tangle up. But brace yourself, folks, because not every tale has a happy ending. Snag your copy today from most online booksellers. So I hope you agree with me that JD was pretty infectious. She's vivacious. She's a lifesaver. There's a story that you could run with for sure, saving somebody from a killer wave. The sensational story of JD Reynolds. But I think she's very genuine and she's very down to earth. She's bubbly. She's, she says it like it is. Her song about players, well, it's pretty true. We were talking about players, and I think part of that truly is the fact that we aren't taught intimacy. We are too scared to commit, and it's much easier to go from person to person to person than to actually try to compromise and work through a relationship. I mean, if you're constantly bouncing and you're never settling down, then you don't have to take off your mask. You don't have to reveal yourself. You don't have to be vulnerable, and you don't have to compromise. You get to be you. But in the long run, as she was saying about those guys that are in the old age home, they have nobody there. They have nobody visiting them. They have nobody that's going to care, per their own words, when they're gone. And that's rather sad because all of us need that connection. So, try to, if you are a player, why don't you sit down with yourself and say, okay, so what am I doing? What do I really want in my life? Is it all work and all play, meaning player, or do I really want to settle down and have a relationship? You have to kind of sit there and sit with it to figure it out. Yeah. So if you have chance, definitely go check out JD's record. And I would say, keep an eye on her because you never know where she might pop up. Yeah, sure, she's going to be in Nashville and she's got New York fans, she said. So she's going to be moving around when she gets over here. But definitely keep an eye on her because I have a feeling she's going to be somebody in a few years that we're all going to know. So, on that note, as always, I'd like to thank Rich Zai of Third Ear Audio Productions for doing the sound on our podcast. And I would like to thank, yeah, sometimes I get tongue-tied. I would like to thank Fast Susie for the intro and outro music. And most importantly, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. If I didn't have an audience, I don't know that I would be doing this, but then most likely I still would because I have the perk of talking to some really cool people and talking to people around the world. So whether it is the evening, the day, the weekend, whenever you're listening, thank you so much for listening. And if you want to be a guest on the show, please drop me a line at Donna, DAUNA, at better2podcast.com. That's Donna at better2podcast.com. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.